Hi guys, welcome to Coding Ambitions. This is Sunil Dhiman. Today we will discuss about view binding in Android. But before that, I would like to say you guys, if you want to learn Android app development, if you want to learn Flutter or Merge Stack for web development, then you can subscribe my YouTube channel. I post content on these topics on my channel. So before the view binding, most of the developers were using the findViewByIds. You might have used those things in your Android app development. But today we will learn about what is view binding in Android. So basically, what view binding do is it allows us to easily interact with the views. This feature allows us to easily interact with the views. We don't need to use find view by ID, and there are many more advantages over find view ID that view binding provides in Android. So we will discuss about this feature. So first of all, let's see how we can add the view binding in Android app. So first of all, we will need to add build features and view binding. Need to enable view binding, set this to true. So this will enable the view binding in our app. This is the first step if you want to use view binding in Android. After using this feature, just sync, and this will enable view binding in our Android app. And now let's see if it has enabled the view binding or not. Basically what view binding do is it generates the binding classes for every XML layout. Like say this is activity underscore main. So what it will do is view binding will do, it will generate a class converting it into Pascal case. Pascal case is every first letter of the word is capital. So activity, what will be the name of this binding? Activity main PIND binding. So this will be the name of the class, binding class for this layout. Let's check if it's created or not. Well, binding of type activity, it will basically show suggestion. Yes, it's showing in suggestions. This is the class generated by view binding for activity underscore main. Similarly, it generates reference to every views, like this is the text view. So what will be the XML, what will be the reference in binding class for this view? It will be like test text view. So basically in IDs except the first character, it converts every each character after underscore into the capital. So this is the view binding feature. So let's see how this works. Just create a pair of binding, and how we will use this. If we will not use view binding, then set content we will work like add.layout.activity main. So this will set the view. But if we will use binding, then how it will do is, first of all we need to inflate the binding. Activity main binding dot inflate, we will use this method. There are two methods here basically. Second one is for 3 parameters, is for fragments, but for layouts we don't need containers. So in the fragment we need container, so that's why we use this method, and in the second parameter we pass container. But here we will use this method, and here we will pass layout inflator. What it will do is it will create an instance of binding class. This class instance will be created in this variable, assigned to this variable. Then what we will do is we will pick up the root, because every binding class contains the root. That is the basically root class of the layout. Here we can see this will be the root. This layout will be the root. So now what we will do is set content view will be root. So let's just give it a build and see if it works successfully or not. or are there any errors there? Oh, oops, let's remove this one as well. Yes, it's showing for that error. Let's rebuild it again. You can see in Visor app is installed, so there is no error setting up the view binding. So let's test if our view binding is working properly or not. So this is the text view. Let's try to pick up this and set some text on this view. So how we will use views from now on? Previously we were using this method find view by id, like yes, this one, and then passing the id there. But now we will just use binding dot. Yes, you can see it has created the reference to that text view using first letter of the first word is as it is, and thereafter each one is, it has capitalized the first letter. But in the class it is not the scenario. It will convert each word, so first character, to the capital and then add the word binding in the end. So that is the difference between references and class references and view references in view binding. Now we will pick up that text view and then test it. View binding is working. Let's see if it's working or not. Oh, oops, we need to set the text here. Yeah, let's check it. Yes, you can see view binding is working. So we can see view binding is working now. So how what are the advantages of view binding basically? Let's say earlier we were using the find view by id. Let's say we have two activities and login and sign up, or you can say any other kind of similar kind of activities where we will be using the same kind of fields. So let's say there is some field email or username in both activities. So we have assigned some id like uh, email edit text, and let's say inside the login activity, due to some reason we have changed the id in the xml file. We have changed the id in the xml file but forgot to change inside the java or kotlin class. Let's say this is the find view by id add text, or like text view, anything like r dot id dot. Let's convert this. Just for example, take it, just assume it, this is the edit text. So let's say this is the id of the email or any kind of view, email or mobile number, like so, which we are needed in both activities. So what we did is we have changed the id inside in the xml file, but we forgot to change inside the java or kotlin file. But it will not show error at that time because it's picking up that id from another activity. Like say if we are making change in login and in the sign up, it is same, so it is picking up from the sign up because r.id provides us global IDs, so it will not show error here, but it will show error at the runtime because at the runtime it will not find this ID inside this. Like say this is the activity underscore login, it will not find that ID inside here. So this will be the huge disadvantage of using find view by IDs. So that is overcome by view binding here. So this is the one of the biggest advantage of view binding. And there is one more similar kind of approach available in Android, that is data binding. But data binding is for some deeper level binding, so we will learn about that thing in coming videos. So this is about the view binding. So I like this concept very much in Android because if we don't need any kind of complex bindings, then we can just use this view binding feature, and we can get rid of those find view by IDs and the errors caused by those situations like which I have mentioned just now. So like updating the ID inside the XML file and not updating inside the Java Kotlin file, that causes the runtime error. So that can be overcome by using view binding. So this is about the view binding in Android. So I hope you guys now have an idea about what is view binding, and I will also cover data binding in the coming videos, and we will also know about the differences. What are the differences inside the view binding and data binding? Which one should be preferred and when which one should be preferred? So we will cover all these topics in the coming videos. So till then, bye bye, take care, have a great time. And don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel Coding Ambitions if you want to learn Android app development, Flutter for Android and iOS app development, and Merge Stack for web development. Thanks.